I am the Narcopath.
I'm here to tell you a story. Remember, when we first started to date, I knew you were heartbroken from that last witch who used you and cheated on you and lied to you. I comforted you and said, "Oh, honey, I know what you're going through. She had no right to do that to you." I assured you that I was the most honest, loyal, faithful person. You thought you had it made, didn't you? I carried on with that narrative as time went on. Eventually you found out about the fact that the housekeeper and I were getting busy on the side. I had seduced 2 members of your family. You also found out that I had stolen some money from your parents' house one afternoon when I was there. All these things, of course, happened slowly over time. I continued with my same old narrative. I'm the most honest, loyal, and faithful person you'll ever meet. Eventually, you started to put 2 and 2 together. You noticed how my sweetness faded slightly at this point when you started questioning me, asking about certain details about things I was doing and things I had said and done. I didn't like that. I swore I was the best person you'd ever meet. Well, you continued to bring up the things I did. Once you found out, of course, which was never right when it happened. I had the advantage of when you did that, I could just say, "Oh, that's so far in the past. Never mind, I kept it from you for all those years." I acted like you were nagging me and getting on my nerves. You kept trying to contradict me and tell me I wasn't honest, that I wasn't loyal, I wasn't faithful. I took all that as an insult, and I said, "Would you stop insulting me? Stop putting me down?" I told you why I had that affair. It was only because of what you said to me the night before. I told you I stole that money because I needed it, and it benefited you. I told you that I seduced your other family members because it was a joke. And I became upset with you because you kept driving it over and over, trying to get me to agree that I wasn't the most honest person, that I wasn't the most loyal, the most faithful. I wouldn't do it. I told you I am all those things. I told you why I did those exceptions to that rule. You just didn't listen. And that's where we started to fall apart. Well, I knew you were right about everything I did. Of course, I lied, I cheated, I stole, I betrayed. I couldn't let you know that. So I just acted like I didn't know what you're talking about, and you're wrong. And you just need to listen to my excuses. And because you wouldn't, it had to end. I ran off with the housekeeper, and we're happily ever after.
A word of advice for you. If you want your next relationship to work, don't go spying on her or him. Don't go looking for things, and you won't find anything.
Chances are I'm dating him behind your back anyway, or her. Look, one thing you need to accept is that I am always right. Even if you think I ain't right, I'm always right. Once you learn that, then we might be able to get along. But otherwise, forget it. You think you know it all. You think you're so perfect. Well, honey, you ain't. I am. Accept it.
I know that shortly after I dumped you, you noticed how quickly I started to date your cousin. Don't blame me, honey. It's your fault for introducing us at your graduation. If you hadn't have invited him and me there, I would never have even known him. But because you did, I took a look at some of his personal records and found he was worth way more to me than you could ever be. It's quite natural that he fell for me shortly after. I told him all kinds of twisted versions of the truth. It kind of ruined your family a little bit. Hey, it was worth it. I got his money, and I got out of there. So now that I'm out of there, might as well know everything that was about you was lies. I made it up just to turn him against you. And of course, I'm very good at that. I've been doing it my entire life. I'm the best liar you'll ever meet. Oh, isn't that ironic how I swore to you I was so honest when we first met? Well, honey, that's not my problem.
You shouldn't have listened to me. You should have known better. I am a liar. But ooh, he was so much better than you.
And at least he let me get his money, unlike you. I'm on to the next now. Ta-ta.
Well, when TJ told me I had to give confessions, nothing was ever said about so-called sensitive subjects. So, he's locked away for the moment. He doesn't need to know what I'm talking about here. I'm gonna delete it once I'm done. Figured I might as well talk about the more sensitive subject. If you recall, when we moved in together into the house, I kept up my act as long as I could, making you seem like you're the one and only for me. But I couldn't help but notice when you stopped working so much. I couldn't take it because I couldn't perform my usual business duties with you always hanging around the house. If you recall when we met, I found out that you were on probation for a legal infraction. And that was one of the main reasons, to tell you the truth, why I pursued you. Because I knew I could cash in on that. Guess what I did? One particular night, you'd been suspicious that I'd been seeing a certain person, who shall remain nameless. And I swore to you I would never talk to them again. But then I carefully orchestrated it so it would be this way. You found my cell phone listing of calls, which had hours and hours of calls with that particular person. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. It got you shrieking because I'd sworn to you I hadn't spoken to the person in months. And you saw that I'd spoken to it every single day for hours on end. I knew that would get you, and it did. And when you raised your fist to me, that was it. I called the police, and that was my ticket to freedom. Because, as I said, I couldn't keep you hanging around that house. I needed it for my brothel activities, and you would never approve of that because I pretended to be faithful to you. When the police came, and I showed them the bruise on my face and said, "He did it." And I had a sexy outfit on, and it turned on one of the officers, of which I dated too, behind your back while we were dating, but that's beside the point. He was very pleased with the idea of hauling your ass off to jail. I had the house to myself, and guess what? Shortly afterward, he called me and came over, and we made love in our bed. I told him I didn't care about you. You're a piece of trash criminal, but we made love in your honor in our bed. I'll never forget it.
I am the Narcopath, and I miss you. Do you miss me? I know I'm the most beautiful one you've ever had. You must think about me sometime. You must. I've become more beautiful with age.
Hi. They call me the Gray. I'm from another planet. Or from hell. You'll never know which. Hi, I'm Sandy Hoaxtard with TV5 News. I'm so glad you could join us. I've got a special announcement regarding the weather. You know, Hurricane Harvey's been tearing up the world. I thought I'd give you a little background on it. In case you didn't know, that ain't a real hurricane that was like inspired by God. No, it was man-created. On the street, I tell this to people, and their questions are like, why would anyone do that? Well, honey, I'm going to tell you. Why would they create and manufacture a geoengineered storm and put it in Texas? Need me to tell you why? Well, it was specifically directed there because some of you don't know weather modification techniques and technology has been around for at least 40 or more years. It ain't nothing new. It ain't like somebody's doing some science fiction claims here. Just thought you should know that to begin. We need to notice first that this storm is very much still in progress. As usually is the case, this particular hurricane is not only about a calamitous wind-damaging event, as it was geoengineered to be a mega rain dumper. Catastrophic winds typically limit their fury to the coastlines mostly, although they can sometimes destroy the path of the eye wall. But continuously falling rains do cause an apocalyptic deluge that can paralyze a major metropolitan area, such as Corpus Christi and Houston. You skeptics out there, you may want to know, why Texas? Why would they want to? Well, honey, number one, because Texas has been at the forefront of the illegal immigration movement. They've got tough and strict laws, and the governor there has been very clear about their policy against the illegal aliens. And keep in mind, Texas is right on the border of Mexico. Duh! So, by having a weather attack in this area, that Mexican border disintegrates, and the illegals can just go over there and disappear in the USA. Also, that border is used for human trafficking. Hillary, Laura Silsby, and so on. Yes, human trafficking, which will make operations a little smoother for smuggling over those kids that they're abusing. Texas is number one for the war on drugs, which is totally fabricated because our own governments are the ones bringing the drugs in, especially the DEA. They're the biggest drug dealers there are, but anyway, that's beside the point. The feds use the Mexican cartels to bring the substances over the border, and Texas is very strict on that too. They had to do something to disrupt that problem, so the mules and dealers could bring their stuff over without the interference that normally occurs. Because having the Trump wall is going to interfere in the cartel's business. Those in the government who aren't Trump don't want that to happen. Another reason George Soros' Purple Revolution is in dire need of mercenary conscripts. Most of the Antifa terrorists, for example, are illegal aliens. They'll do anything to stay in the USA, and that's why they're wearing those masks over their faces when they show up to terrorize a patriot movement protest. Otherwise, they'd be obviously found out as coming from south of the border. These Spanish-speaking illegal aliens are desperate for a job. They ain't got no legal status under our Trump administration's fallacy, and these border jumpers are real terrorists in many cases. They've come over from the Middle East. Soros and company stealthily created a system not too much unlike the rat lines at World War II, which transformed the Nazi war criminals to various protected destinations around the world, especially South America. In the case of Texas, those ISIS terrorists, which are phony that we've created, the USA funded, they've been conveyed across the border in recent years to prepare for the Soros-sponsored Clinton-inaugurated Purple Revolution. Fake storms like Harvey that hit Texas only makes it a wonderful conspiracy, and it's much easier to manage undetected because of the pandemonium it creates. Duh. Another reason for this, Texas is the second largest state in the union in size and population after California. On the target list, where it's concerning the implementation of the United Nations Agenda 21 and new and improved version 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This deluge will destroy the property and make it easier to put those retarded ideas into effect. By the way, Texas has its own rules. It's never been one to go with the flow, especially with this deep state / New World Order retarded idea that someone's come up with. This fiercely independent state will not be dictated to, even by the U.S. government. Plus, they've got a lot of gun owners that can quickly be de-gunned, just like they did at the Katrina, which was another man-made disaster. You people who don't realize that man can make the weather, you need to get to studying. And don't do it on your fake mainstream news. They're not going to tell you. So one day, all of you global warming believers are going to eventually realize that there ain't no natural global warming that we cause. We don't breathe too much oxygen, CO2. No, it's deliberately engineered by these fools with the New World Order / deep state. They're doing it and blaming it on us. Sorry, honey, but I'm not going to take that blame. The climate change is manipulated. It's being controlled on purpose so these stupid global warming things can try to be put into effect. Like, honey, stop warming it and it won't be warm, huh, fools? But they're retarded, they're reptilian shapeshifters, so they don't know any better. But eventually people are going to wake up to the fact that this global climate change fabrication is basically just geoengineering techniques that Nikola Tesla came up with. And the sun's activity has exerted its fair share of influence on the highly manipulated global warming scenario. It's the geoengineering that's doing it. The HARP technologies that really do all this crap. It's not the people. But the most important conclusion we can come to is that people must realize eventually these geoengineering programs have been a cover for so much weather warfare that's being conducted against us. And it's allowed these globalist perpetrators to wage weather warfare anywhere on the planet Earth with virtual impunity. Something's got to be done about this. I'm Sandy Hoaxtard. That's all for tonight. We'll speak again soon.
All the boys think she's a spy. She's got Betty Davis eyes. That song was written about me, just so you know, because I am a spy, and I spied on you, and I intend to do more.